because dirt racing is available now. Download your copy today.
This is your chance to get behind the wheel. The opportunity to race just like the pros. From the grassroots levels, where we all got our start, to the most popular race cars on the planet. From the fairgrounds of Nashville to the high banks of Daytona, to tracks that will never be forgotten. Realistic driving, intense competition, all from the comfort of your own home. This is the ultimate motorsports simulation. This is iRacing.
Fantastic. This is GT racing right now.
He's got traction, he's got rid of the outside of both of them. Maloney!
Oh, he's taken Anderson. Anderson's up to him.
Oh my God! Big crash. Oh my goodness, half the field's going to get involved.
Second very close. These guys are want to make their way through the field very quickly. Oh, there we go. Oh no! That's massive. This is it. This is over. I can't believe this. Oh my God!
God, what?
Welcome one, welcome all to SimSpeed TV. It's time once again for the Oceanic Dirt Sim events. Proserv Finance 360 Power Series, the fourth round of the championship from Limaland Motorsports Park. I've been looking forward to this one for quite some time because Limaland always turns it up. And to bring it to you all live here on SimSpeed TV is myself, Reese Gardner, with Dan Yeaman. Alongside me, Jay Kennedy on production, bringing you these pictures across the world on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitch. Well, Dan, next round of this series, and we go to a very short dirt oval indeed. Limaland Motorsports Park is only 400 meters long, and it's absolutely rapid, especially in a 360 sprint car.
Well, I'm going to have to take your word for it. Unfortunately, not too experienced with these cars around here, but thank you for the introduction there, Reese, and thank you to everyone joining us for this evening's action. It has been a couple of weeks since I jumped in to help with the commentary coverage, of course. Unfortunately, missing Cam Dance, our usual resident expert here on the dirt stuff at SimSpeed, but able to jump in here and take care of things in his absence tonight. But yeah, looking forward to it. Got a plenty of width here, it seems, at Limaland for these cars to make their way around. But yeah, at 400 meters in length, these lap times in qualifying and the races are going to be absolutely rapid. And with our 8-lap heats, our 10-lap, the C main, 12 B main before we get to our feature tonight at 35 laps, is all going to be over pretty quickly, if I dare so suggest.
Yeah, indeed. It's going to be a brilliant one. This is how the championship standings look going into this round. You see those two asterisks beside a few names there? It means that they've already used their Joker round, which gives you double points for the night. Joel Berkeley on top with Clayton Davies, 26 points behind him. Brad O'Brien not that far behind on 652 points, but he is getting pressured by Jackson Delamont for the top three. Standings incredibly close here. Harry Stewart, who has been the most successful driver in this series so far, yet to use his Joker round. So he still has a double points night up his sleeve if he wishes to use it.
That he sure does, and given the form we've seen from Harry Stewart so far in this season, unless something goes horrendously wrong in the next couple of weeks, and there aren't that many more races left here in the 360 Power Series for him to use that Joker, I get the feeling we'll be seeing him jump straight back up the order in due course. But it's great to see, even with and without the Jokers there, the top 10 all looking nice and close together all the same. Here's the format tonight for our racing at Limaland. And as always, 8 laps per heat, and we've got up to 5 heats scheduled in the system here, but I believe we'll probably end up at around 4 heats. I'm seeing 33 cars out on track, and well, one of them is race control, so I think we'll squeeze in to 4 heats of 8 once again here tonight, Reese. Then we'll progress to our C main, 10 laps, and top 8. Top 2 again from the C main. We'll progress to the B main, and then as usually it's been top 8 from the B main progressing through to join our feature race to make it 24 cars who make it into that A main to wrap things up later on this evening.
Indeed, it's going to be a fun night, and we've been looking forward to it for quite some time. You can see here on the B-roll behind the heat format graphic, the banking up the top here at Limaland is especially high, but it's largely a pretty flat track. It's something that the drivers are going to have to be wary of. You can definitely run the low line around here, but if you want that extra momentum, you'll have to go for the high line and basically run the right rear right up against that banking on the outside without getting into the wall. It's going to be quite a difficult scene here for the drivers tonight, and they've got to be careful of those tyres on the inside of the corners as well. There aren't that many of them, but if you hit them wrong, they will send you up and over with terminal damage.
They will indeed. I've done 1 or 2 races here at Limaland, so not entirely unfamiliar with how nasty those little tyres can be, and especially here in a dirt sprint car like we've got on the cards. So we're going to have here a couple of moments in practice for drivers to get on out and get a couple of laps in, as unfortunately the first driver straight out of the lane was Leo Heat, and he's gone around, and about 20 seconds, very limited time tonight, and also instructed to try and stay about middle of track here in practice, Reese, before we go into qualifying in just a moment's notice to keep this track nice and fresh to get things underway here tonight.
And as we get our first live pictures of the night, you can already see just how tiny this track is. Those 360 sprint cars look absolutely massive compared to this place. I mean, they're already pretty big cars, but I have to say, the fact that these guys are able to complete a lap around here in a bit over 10 seconds is nothing short of incredible. And you can already see that drivers are running reasonably high, but they're not going right up against the banking just yet, demonstrating the cushion, the dark clay up there up top. You want to run just below that for optimum grip around the racetrack. On board with High Octane Sim Sports, Nathan Norman, for that quick little demonstration of what it's like taking a lap around Limaland Motorsports Park. We are in qualifying now, though, and the first of our drivers will be able to make their way out onto the racetrack, and we'll see how the starting order for the heats is defined.
It will indeed. I just want to make a note. This track obviously started out nice and fresh at 0% usage. Look at the coloration up here at the top around the oval already. That was about 30 seconds, 40, maybe 45 seconds of practice, and we've already got quite a bit of a groove sort of built up there in the middle upper part of the track as drivers get their first qualifying laps underway here tonight. We'll see here who can be the fastest one out on track. Best time in practice, a 10.826 from Leo Heaton. First qualifying times come in, though. We're already into the mid-10s, with Brady Baldwin taking the early scalp on a 10.67 in his number 7 machine. But all eyes on there for a second, Harry Stewart, but we'll check back in with him once he's up to speed here. Is it Sean Stevens on screen with us now in the number 26 machine for YOB Racing here. Brings it across the start-finish line, and he's going to jump up to P4 there, 10.75. Does a nice job there. He's got himself one more lap here. Can he improve on the 10.7? To the line he'll come, unfortunately, no. First lap will be his best here so far, as it's Joel Berkeley, Blaine Densley, Harry Stewart, all jumping up front nice and quick there in the mid-phase, Reese.
Yep, and all in the 10.5s as well. Harry Stewart's run is over. Ran just a little bit slower on that one. The 0-2 of Thomas Mitchell, meanwhile, making his way around the circuit here. We'll see what he can do. 10.793 there for Mitchell, goes 11th, and back to 12th as Clayton Tilley runs the fastest time of the session so far. Clayton Davies, meanwhile, former 360 Sprint Car Championships winner. Let's see what he can do in the number 1 car, of course, denoting his previous title here in ODSE. Very successful driver in this league, and we'll see what he can do here. 6th for his first lap. 10.6, can he do any better on this one? A 10.542 will certainly do that. He has set the exact same time as Joel Berkeley, believe it or not. They are down to the 1,000th of a second. Braden Miller goes to 9th, and Tim Ryan for Altus Esports is out on track. Former World of Outlaws Sprintcar Online Series champion here on the iRacing service, and no surprise to see that he immediately goes to the top on a 10.514.
Been consistently one of the best qualifiers in this current season of the Power Series. Definitely has had a bit of mixed fortunes along the way, come heats and features both. But that's going to be everyone but Ethan Bastian now with times on the board. And, well, the 54 machine hasn't even jumped out in the service. I believe we are done there with 32 times on the board for this evening's action. So indeed, we progress to heat number 1. It's time to walk you through the grid here in a second of our 32-car field. Of course, we divided therefore into, the race control actually counted in that order there. So we'll have ourselves, actually 4 heats of 8 plus race control spectating on tonight. So let's walk you through the grid for heat number 1. And of course, the pole position, the quick time there for Tim Ryan. We'll put him on the pole here for heat number 1. He'll be joined on the front row by Darcy Wilson in the number 05 machine for United Sim Sports. Brody Baldwin, High Octane Sim Sport, number 7 machine starting out of P. Number 3 is joined on that row by Braden Shute in the 76. From Senate Sim Sports will be the 002, of Thomas Mitchell for Vortex Sim Sports there out of P5 with Jackson Delamont alongside him for P6. P7 goes to John Schultz in the 78 machine, and it's Cole Ferguson who will round out the field for heat number 1 in the number 81 sprint car there. Race control in the session, but, well, that's just the way things work here. So 8 races for all the heats here tonight, Reese, and, well, this is looking like it's going to be a good one. Pretty nice and tight fuel spread, just over half a second in it from 1st to 32nd. So I'm sure this is going to be a good night of racing if we can keep things nice and neat and tidy here.
Yeah, that's going to be easier said than done at Limaland, though. A very short track, but incredibly wide. So the slide job is a very attractive proposition here. We wait for the last of our cars to join this grid. It looks like Tim Ryan's leaving it to the very last second to jump on the grid here. So we'll have to wait and see what goes on here in the last couple of seconds before the grid time ends. It looks like Tim's just taking a little bit of extra time to get himself prepared for this first heat. He had a bit of a difficult round last time out, so it's going to be a refreshing change for him if he can take this heat win without much fuss. But, of course, Darcy Wilson is going to be pushing him very hard, only 300 slower in the quick time session.
It is nice and tight indeed. Just a reminder about, obviously, rules here on ODSE, including start zones, restart zones. And now, I wasn't expecting to be on commentary for this one tonight, so I kind of glossed over them when I spotted them in the ODSE group. But let me bring them up for you here tonight. Nope, that's the page, unfortunately. That's going to give me a bit of a hard time. I believe the answer is that the start zone begins at the tyre in the apex of turns 3 and 4 here at Limaland. Restart zone starts a fraction earlier, the tyre beforehand. Indeed, that is confirmation there. So they'll have basically middle of turns 3 and 4 tonight is where Tim Ryan will have to go up until the tyres just before pit entry. Restart zone, 1 set of tyres further on back in turn 3 race.
Indeed. Well, we go around our final formation lap here, and we'll get Heat 1 started very shortly. Here we go then. Tim Ryan leaving it to the last possible moment there, or the first possible moment rather, to get things going here. We're racing at Limaland, and it was almost 3 wide there for the lead. We see down the bottom Brady Baldwin trying to work his way forward, but it's not working for him. The high line is where you want to be right now, and we see that Darcy Wilson is falling under some immense pressure here from Braden Shute, who does the slide job up the inside. He's not going to be able to get it done, though. Wilson passes him right back, and that's going to result in a bit of an exchange that allows Tim Ryan to streak away at the front.
Back and forth between Wilson and Shute. This time, though, it's going to be Shute the big loser. Here comes a slider from Brady Baldwin there. Up the inside, but can't get up to block Shute there, so he'll fall back into P4 and puts him under pressure from Jackson Delamont in the 48 machine there, who in turn's got Cole Ferguson just behind. So Delamont's turn to slide on up the inside for P4.
No!
Forward tries to stick it in, and unfortunately around goes the 7 multiple times on the outside of turn 2. gets out of the way immediately there, but it puts Delamont up into the transfer for now, as the fight's still on up ahead for P2, but look at that there just in behind. The fight's also on there for P5 as well, Reese.
It absolutely is. Cole Ferguson and Thomas Mitchell trading places there in the 81 and 002 side by side on the way through. And I think you've just seen it too, Jackson. Delamont immediately given a black flag for that contact with Brady Baldwin. And no wonder. I mean, of course, race control is fair. It's the final lap. Meanwhile, Tim Ryan is going to come away with the victory here in Heat 1. And it's a dead heat for second. It looks like Darcy Wilson just got Braden Shute at the line. That was 0.07 of a second between them.
He did indeed, and for a moment there, it looked like I saw it was Cole Ferguson having a moment up against the wall into turns 1 and 2, but he able to hang on to it, and the issue for John Schultz similarly down the backstretch. So that is the results there from heat number 1. Ryan, Wilson, Shute and Ferguson transfer themselves directly to the A main. We'll be seeing Schultz and Mitchell later on the B main. Delamont and Baldwin will have the long way through via the C main, of course, for that one. So, to your heat number 2 here for our next 8 drivers to take on Limaland this evening. Clayton Tilley gets the pole position for this one on the inside in the 51 machine. He's joined on the front row by Blaine Densley in the number 27. Braden Miller will start at a P3 in that number 2 machine. Nathan Norman on the outside of row 2 there in P4. It'll be Brent Hobbs at a P5 in the number 64. Braden Morosky at a P6 in the 270. Brenton Hobson starts at a P7 for the 88 machine, and Bo Nation will join him on the 4th row here of heat number 2, Reese.
Indeed he will. The field has pulled away behind the pace car. Just to finish my point a little earlier, I know that it's fair dealing here in race control, but I'd be feeling especially sheepish if I took out Brady Baldwin in an ODSE race, because he's the league owner. Either way, Brady Baldwin is going to have a rough night from here on out. So will Jackson Delamont. Hopefully the next time they race together will be a little cleaner. And you'll also notice on the number 27 of Blaine Densley, he's got a special livery for this round. You see that there are streaks of pink on his livery. That is for Blake Walsh's mother, Team Tania. As the green flag flies and we are away, Clayton Tilley gets off to a really good start. To the inside goes Braden Miller to try and take second there from Densley. And the inside line seems to be working out all right for him so far. He's got to try and keep that momentum up, though. He's forced to the inside again because Nathan Norman is up there in 4th place on the outside. It looks like the position will be held for the meantime by Braden. And it looks like he's the odd man out at the moment. No one else going for the low line here.
Yeah, he's indeed the lone one out. To be honest, I don't think it's working right now here for that number 2 of Miller as we jump on board and look out the back of him towards Nathan Norman for a second. I really feel like from what I'm seeing here in heats 1 and 2 is, never mind that, Densley in the fence. Unfortunately, 27 there can actually put Norman down low, as Bo Nation's had trouble further on back there in the 94 as well. So all of a sudden, it's drama with Brenton Hobbs, and that explains why they've come unstuck together, unfortunately, there. That shuffles things around. It's now actually Braden Morosky who's taken the 270 machine up into the transfer spot. Trouble for Nathan Norman having to dodge Densley there on that previous lap. Unsettled the 21 machine's rhythm. I was just going to say that Miller, it didn't look like going to the inside there repeatedly was working really well, because he didn't have that momentum you said he needed, Reese, down the front and back stretches. But he's gone up to the top in behind Clayton Tilley at the front of the field. But it's on here for the transfer between Morosky, Norman and Brent Hobbs, who's joined the queue as they're coming here to take the white flag already.
Yeah, slider for the lead. Braden Miller, he's not done there with Tilley, and Clayton goes to the inside to defend, and it looks like he's going to come across the line to take the win. And there goes Densley to third, and Morosky gets himself into the transfer spot there. Nice to see as we go through our results from this heat. Tilley, Miller, Densley, Morosky, they'll transfer straight through into the feature. Brent Hobbs is going to come home in 5th. He, Nathan Norman, Brenton Hobson, and Bo Nation are going to have to work their way through the consolations. A big shame for them, but we'll see them again tonight. Now, here goes the 3rd heat of the night, and it's going to be Joel Berkeley who starts on the pole. Harry Stewart is going to start alongside him. Berkeley Championship leader, but of course, Stewart has yet to use his joker round. Aston Hurley and Travis Parrott are going to line up on the 2nd row with Daniel Gow and Nathan Vanderwacker starting 5th and 6th. And then 7th and 8th are going to be Leo Heaton and Daniel Evans making their way from the back of the 8-car grid here, as the field have already pulled away behind the pace truck. Now, this is a pretty stacked front row. We know how good Joel Berkeley is. We know how good Harry Stewart is. And Harry has been wondering if he's wasted the chance to use his joke around at this point, because not all of the tracks that we're coming to favour him. It will be interesting, though, to see how this night goes for the two of them, because either way, this is going to be a very tight fight for the 360 Power Series Championship as we get ready to go here. Forming up, the pace truck pulls away and into the pits, and Joel Berkeley will enter the start zone right about now, and he is away. That is a nice straight run, and he gets it, instantly going to the low line. We haven't seen the leader do that yet tonight. Interesting to see. Harry Stewart's going to hold on to second, and they are breaking away from the rest of the pack as it's proper side-by-side here. Hurley up high, but the number 3 of Daniel Gow is going to try and get him here. Oh, goodness, they didn't make contact, but Hurley did get into the wall.
Oh, Daniel Gow with an attempt to slide up the inside of Hurley, who then goes to the inside of Gow there. Oh, it's all kinds of crazy here. And it means that the transfer spot is alive and busy. Hurley hangs onto it for now in the 99 machine, but we've got Leo Heaton trying to slide up the inside of Travis Parrott. Parrott then back up the inside of Heaton there. We've got the 088 of Vanderwacker now trying to get involved here. And this is only the first half of this one here. Top 3 spacing out as around goes Leo Heaton in the 026 there. And unfortunately, that looks like his race will be basically done there. Back now in P8. But it's now Nathan Vanderwacker's turn, Reese, to try and get the pressure on for that final transfer spot here in heat number 3.
3 laps to go, and the hunt is on here for Nathan Vanderwacker. Can he get into the transfer spot and secure his place on the feature grid? He's closer and closer every single time. He is running the high line, getting that extra run on the straights, and he goes to the inside. There is the slider on Aston Hurley, but will Aston be able to get around the outside? Oh, they make contact, and that is going to allow a big chance for Parrott. Huge chance for Parrott indeed. It's the final lap up front. Final lap up front, Joel Berkeley takes the win. Stewart and Gow second and third, and it looks like Vanderwacker is going to be the one who comes away with that transfer spot, Dan.
He just hangs on ahead of Travis Parrott indeed there, Reese. Bit of contact between Parrott and Hurley on the final lap there. I think just stalled out the run for the 33 machine there. So unfortunately for Parrott and Hurley, they'll have to go through the B main to try and get themselves into the feature later tonight. Daniel Evans and Leo Heaton will have the long way through from the C main as well. And just like that, back in to our 4th and final heat of this evening's action. Our final 8 cars take to the grid tonight are going to be started by Clayton Davies and Daniel Boyd on the front row here tonight, number 1 and 79 respectively for those two here tonight. Brad O'Brien out of P3 as Sean Stevens alongside on that second row be Isaac Ruse and Tyler Bish on the third row here tonight, and Hayden Vickers and Jaden Russell to round out our final 8 cars to take part here at Limaland. And once again, already rolling away here on the formation. And well, yeah, this is going to be a pretty busy one. We've seen that there's a lot of action there in heat number 3. We've got here Clayton Davies having qualified P4 here with the pole position for heat number 4, but going to have his work cut out all the same, you would think. We'll see what these guys here like Daniel Boyd, Brad O'Brien and Sean Stevens can potentially do to spoil the final. Whether it might even be one of the guys here, Isaac Ruse, Tyler Bish, even Hayden Vickers and Jaden Russell might have a good run through the field here tonight and pick up a early transfer to the feature. We'll have to wait and see as pace truck's in. Big gap left here by Clayton Davies. We come on around the turn. He means he can go nice and early in the start zone, and we're on the way with heat number 4.
We are. That's a great start by Clayton Davies, and you see that people are starting to favour the low line more and more at the start, as there was 3 wide in the back there between Ruse, Vickers and Bish. Doesn't seem like there's... Oh dear, that's big contact there. Tyler Bish and Jaden Russell have come together, and Russell is up and over. He's lost his front wing. That's a big shame there for the 27 who started from the back of this one. You see that now in this heat, the low line is the one in favour over, or the midline rather, as we ride on board with Daniel Boyd. He holds the transfer spot at the moment, and that is a great view of the top three here as Davey sets the fastest lap of the heat so far, 11.11. That is almost a full tenth faster than everyone else at the moment. Seems that the momentum is with him, as there goes the 15 of Hayden Vickers trying to get up the inside of Isaac Roos. These guys battling for fifth. They can't afford to lose too much time here. It's a short race, and the transfer spot is just ahead.
Yeah, obviously want to keep your eyes on P4 here and see what you can do, but it looks like to me they're not really looking at that fight for P4, and they're focused on this fight for 5. We've also got this fight here for P2. Brad O'Brien has got Sean Stevens really trying to hustle here as we come down to take the white flag. They're also within touching distance of your race leader, Clayton Davies. Oh my goodness, Stevens gets right to the rear of O'Brien's on the final lap. We go here. Try and hustle for the best spot you can in the feature, but round the final turn we'll go. Stevens actually might just get him here on the way out of turn 4 to the line with... And it's going to be O'Brien who hangs on by the barest of margins in that one ahead of Stevens. And it'll be Daniel Boyd just on back who takes the final transfer spot directly to the A-main. But how's that for a margin there, Reese? 13 one-thousandths of a second. All that there was between Brad O'Brien and Sean Stevens at the line.
Yep, and Daniel Boyd comes home another 1.5 seconds back to take that transfer spot. Isaac Roos another second behind. Then we got Vickers, Bish, and Russell. Our sole retirement from that one. Okay, we're going straight into the C main here. We've had our 4 heats, and now it's going to be Jackson Delamont and Brenton Hobson who start on the front row for this, with Daniel Evans and Tyler Bish on row 2. Brady Baldwin is going to start out at 5th place alongside Bo Nation, who got a black flag for the incident in his heat, and Leo Heaton and Jaden Russell will take up the rear row. It's a pretty quick turnaround there for Jaden Russell. Just had a very poor performance and some bad luck in the last heat, and so he will be able to get straight back in for this 10-lap C main. And don't forget, the top 2 from this race transfer through to the B main. Everyone else from this point is going to be going home, so the stakes are high.
That it is indeed. This is the long way there to the A-main. If you want to have a chance of making it, Bo Nation is going to be sent to the back of the line here on the start for this one. In addition, likewise is Jackson Delamont. So, yeah, got the black flags in the race previous heats to send them to the back of the order there, but they will be shuffled back here for the start of this one. So we are going to be in the control of the 44 Daniel Evans, be given starting command here on the inside row, and Hobbo there in the 88 will also be there trying to go with him as we come around on this second formation lap here. And we'll see here, they're a little bit closer to the pace truck this time by what we saw there in heat number 4, and it'll make its way down into the lane here now in the hands of Daniel Evans in the 44. He goes waiting here right to the end of the start zone. He goes nice and late. We're underway here with the C main, and immediately up the inside, Brady Baldwin looking for the low line here, but Hobbo up high, going to try and hang on to the momentum here down to turns 3 and 4. And it's going to be a tale of 2 different lines here in this early phase of the race, side by side across the line there between Hobbo and Baldwin. And looks like at the moment it's going to be pretty close to a dead heat at this stage.
Yeah, Baldwin, though, he's starting to gain more and more. He moves up high and tries to block off the advance from Hobbo, who comes back down the inside. These guys are battling for the transfer spot, don't forget. There was some contact at the back. Meanwhile, looks like Leo Heaton and Bo Nation might have come together, potentially Jaden Russell as well. But have a look at this. Evans is getting hunted down here as Brady Baldwin is now secure in second for the time being. Brenton Hobson is trying to hold on to a podium spot, but it looks like Tyler Bish is going to take that from him. And Baldwin trying his best here to make that low line work in turns 1 and 2, and it doesn't work out for him. There's contact, and Tyler Bish gets by into second. This is going to be a difficult one. Baldwin is going to have to find some pace here if he wants to keep his night lasting from here on out.
It's defensive, did Brady Baldwin there, trying to cover off there, but Tyler Bish able to stick it around the outside. I actually didn't see the contact on mine. I thought it was very, very close. But I thought that Bish was able to just find the gap there around the outside of 3 and 4 to make it stick. We've already only got 3 laps to go here, and it looks like it is going to be Daniel Evans and Tyler Bish at this rate here. They seem to have gotten just enough of a gap to hang on here. 2 laps to go. They're still riding the cushion. Who knows? Someone might just grab the fence here at Limaland, but in fact, looks like it's going to be Hobbo, unfortunately, there back in P4. He'll be the first to find the fence at the front half of the field, and I think we'll be saying goodbye to him from here on out. White flag in the air. Brady Baldwin, one final charge up for that second place spot, but it's going to be one heck of a send. It turns 3 and 4.
Here he goes.
He'll go low for the slider, but he grabs the, just over the top there, reset. Unfortunately, not quite enough momentum. He'll have to settle for P3 in the C main tonight.
Yeah, and his night is over, as is the night of everyone behind him. So those results up on your screen, Daniel Evans and Tyler Bish will take that top 2, and they will transfer through into the B main. One final run at making the feature grid. Baldwin, Hobson, Delamont, Heaton, and Nation are your other finishers, and unfortunately Jaden Russell had to retire after some late contact there. His night definitely over. Hopefully we see him again soon. Here is the starting grid then for the B main. John Schultz is going to start on the front row alongside Brent Hobbs, with Travis Parrott and Isaac Roos taking up row 2. 5th and 6th will be Thomas Mitchell and Nathan Norman. In 7th place, it's going to be Aston Hurley, with Hayden Vickers taking up 8th, and then our top 2 from the C main, Evans and Bish, making up our 10-car field. Now, it's a bit of an inverse situation here. It is the bottom 2 who will have their night ended after this one. The top 8 spots in this race will transfer through and make up those final spots on the feature grid. So the stakes aren't as high, but there's going to be a lot of hard racing at the rear.
You bet there is. And yeah, as you said, actually looking at this here, yeah, 8 drivers in this C main. Now, no, it's a C main, apologies. I'm looking at the wrong set of results. We've got yeah, indeed. Unfortunately, we will only lose 2 drivers, but still, that is a lot of positions. And obviously, every position you can get here in the B main will determine a better starting spot, of course, for the A main. So, we're curious to see here how drivers opt to play this one tonight, because, yeah, that will be important as we get to the second half and final couple of laps in this one here. Nice big gap to the pace truck this time from John Schultz. It really feels like we're seeing 2 different sides of the coin here from what we just saw there in the C main. So pace truck's well and truly in the hands of Schultz. He's going to go nice and early here. Nope, still waiting halfway through the start zone, and then he gets on the floor. We're basically crawling there, but we're underway here, and it's going to immediately be Brent Hobbs going middle of the road here to defend that second place from Travis Parrott in 3rd.
Indeed, right to the inside is Brent Hobbs, and he's going to try and go for the lead here, maybe, if he can make that inside line work. And have a look at that. That is not good there. We got a car in the wall. That's Travis Parrott that has gone for a huge lunge there, and unfortunately has come off terribly from that. His night is over now. 9 cars are remaining in this C main. Tyler Bish and Daniel Evans will be battling over that 8th spot, as it's side by side between Aston Hurley and Hayden Vickers. Hurley getting that done around the outside, which is what you'd expect here at Limaland.
Busy indeed. Unfortunately for Travis Parrott, Reese, just a little update on that one. Just watching what happened there. Actually, yeah, had a nice slide on through turns 1 and 2, but just lost a bit of momentum and got clipped from behind as a result of it all there. So unfortunately, that's what sent him around. Also got Daniel Evans involved. That's why Evans has dropped off the back of the field. But within half a second of Tyler Bish, he might have a chance of getting the transfer spots. Look at this here. We're 2 wide, almost 2 deep here through 3 and 4. And this is fighting inside the top half of our B main currently there. As there it is on for P number 8. Daniel Evans to the inside of Tyler Bish. He's going to try and slide up the nose in front of the 41 machine. He almost cuts him off, but Bish going to hang it around the outside of 3 and 4 there and take the spot back with the momentum down the front straightaway there. Evans still trying the inside line here, Reese. We've only got 3 laps to go at the line. Pardon me, 4 at the line.
Indeed. Oh, side by side, and Tyler Bish gets back by Daniel Evans there, and that was a great move. Just threaded the needle. It is on for the lead, though. Have a look at this. Aston Hurley, with a magnificent run up through the field, is going to go up the inside of John Schultz here and potentially take the lead with just a couple of laps to go. Hurley is sending it at every corner. It hasn't worked out for him. Schultz with a nice straight exit gets it done. They got Thomas Mitchell now right up behind them. What a huge battle this is for the top 7 places in this race. Fantastic, as we are on the final lap, and Schultz might just hold on here. The 99 of Aston Hurley will have one final go, maybe. Yeah, he was blocked off by Schultz on the entry there, but he tries to get it done in the mid-corner. But Schultz is going to be the one who takes the B main there. Contact late on. Oh no, Vickers and Evans. Okay, Evans is going to finish ahead of Vickers there. but something happened between them, Dan. That will require some further analysis. We'll get a replay in the warm-up, but before we do that, we'll just go through our results. John Schultz and Aston Hurley, your top two there, with Mitchell completing the podium. Brent Hobbs, Nathan Norman, Isaac Roos, Tyler Bish, and Daniel Evans will go through into the feature. Hayden Vickers, unfortunately, just missing out there at the end, and Travis Parrott, our sole retirement. Dan?
He is indeed. Now, actually, right before that race ended, black flag to Daniel Evans from race control here. So let's get a look here on the final lap of what's happened here in this final one. So you can see Evans is still in behind Tyler Bish here as we come up to turn 3. Oh my goodness, slider and a half from Evans. Gets the rear of Hayden Vickers. So unfortunately there, that's what allows him to get on through. And the black flag hasn't applied in time.
Yeah.
So that means that Evans is promoted to the A main here. Question is, just listening into race control, are they going to potentially order Evans to step aside, or will get an EOL penalty here? Although, in saying that, he's already the very last driver that makes it through, so unfortunately missed out on that instruction from race control as to what would happen in this case.
Well, we will see. The proof shall be in the pudding, and the proof of the pudding shall be in the eating, as we step aside very briefly here on SimSpeed TV. And we should announce before we go that the 2023 qualifier series for ODSE's races in the following year going to be starting in November. So make sure to tune in throughout the end of the year. It's going to be some hard and fast racing in the 360 and 410 sprint cars. The ODSE 360 title, meanwhile, is going to be happening on Wednesday, November the 2nd. So make sure you tune in for that at 9 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time. And you'll be able to catch that here on SimSpeed TV. Meanwhile, later on in the month, it's going to be the 410 title, and we'll get the big guns out for that with our 410 cubic inch V8 sprint cars making their way around a particular dirt track. I'm not sure exactly where we're going to be racing. It's going to be a very pleasant surprise either way, because there's a great selection of dirt tracks here on the iRacing service. We're going to step aside briefly here on SimSpeed TV. You're watching the Oceanic Dirt Sim Events Proserv Finance 360 Power Series.
World of Outlaws Dirt Racing is available now. Download your copy today.
You're watching SimSpeed TV. This is the ODSE 360 Power Series presented by Proserv Finance and supporting Neuro Power. What a great night of racing it's been, this 5th round of the series at Limaland Motorsports Park. But now we get into the meat of this meal. It is time for the A main. 35 laps of racing coming up around one of the shorter tracks on the iRacing service. As I mentioned, only 400 meters long, this Limaland Motorsports Park. Reese Gardner here with Dan Yeaman to take you through the grid for the feature. Tim Ryan will start on pole alongside Clayton Tilley. There's going to be Joel Berkeley and Clayton Davies starting off the second row, with Darcy Wilson and Braden Miller rounding out the top 6. In 7th place, it is going to be Harry Stewart starting alongside Brad O'Brien. Braden Shute and Blaine Densley will round out the top 10 in this one. And Dan, 11th and 12th, are going to be Daniel Gow and Sean Stevens. This is a pretty stacked field.
It is indeed. Second half of your field, it lines up as follows. Cole Ferguson starting out at position number 13. It's got Braden Morosky alongside him there on row number 7. Nathan Vanderwacker brings the 88 through here into the feature, starting P15 with Daniel Boyd alongside him there in 16th place. John Schultz and Aston Hurley round out our 9th row on the grid there, 17th and 18th for them. Just behind it with Thomas Mitchell in the 002 with Brent Hobbs alongside there in the 64 machine. Nathan Norman and Isaac Roos on row number 11, with Tyler Bish and Daniel Evans, our final 2 drivers to be on the grid here for 24 cars. Now, actually saying that, Daniel Evans has not been permitted to join the grid. So that or he's voluntarily stepped aside here to respect the post-race penalty that would have been applied that should have sent him to the back of the order. So we're going to have 23 cars on the grid here, Reese, for our A main tonight. And, well, you can see them here. We've seen 8 cars go around here and look pretty frantic. 23 cars, when you give them this many here, this is going to be one heck of a race here. Believe we're on the final lap of the formation here as the pace truck's going to come onto the pit lane. It will indeed. So in the hands of Tim Ryan. We'll see here when he goes to get this feature. No, he goes right at the start of the zone. We're green here for the feature at Limaland.
We are indeed, and already Joel Berkeley trying to fend off Clayton Tilley. Berkeley to second place for the time being, and the field fans out as they make their way through these corners. There is a very slick line that has formed across the majority of the width of this racetrack. It's either all the way down low or all the way up high for you, as Berkeley tries his best to continue defending from Tilley. The traction is just not there on the high line on the exit. It's all about the entry there. Tilley is able to keep roughly level with Berkeley. Oh, goodness, that was a car having some issues there. I think that might have been Harry Stewart.
I think it was Braden Miller first that got into the fence, but hey, Harry Stewart indeed getting involved. The number 11 not able to make his way through quite as quickly as he would. In fact, down 3 spots already in this one. So yeah, Harry Stewart stuck in the mid-pack for the time being, and we've got lots of 2 and 3 wide action here right in front of him as Braden Shute up on the high side trying to get through, but he's got Daniel Gow and Darcy Wilson there trying to make the low lines work there through 3 and 4, and you see there Stewart's going to get past the 05 of Wilson here, and he would try and get past Gow here the long way, but actually no, Gow's going to come up high there in the on the run down the backstretch. But now as these top 2 run up against the cushion here, they're really having to work that line right up against the wall. It looks like Stewart's rear bumper is just touching the fence for good measure as we go on board here with the well, what we would say is a championship leader, if not for joker rounds here, Reese. And you can see here, there is no margin left to play with up top.
Yeah, look at how hard he's going into those corners, trying to get past Braden Shute. It's going to be the slider from Harry Stewart down to the inside. Manages to avoid the tyres, but he remains behind Shute for the time being. This has not been a good race for Harry Stewart so far. He hasn't made much forward progress, which he would definitely like as we check out further up. Braden Miller and Brad O'Brien fighting over 4th. They are trading spots corner by corner on our timing, and that's largely down to Miller deciding that the high line is the way to go, but not when you get into the wall like that. Oh, and I'm just seeing Harry Stewart is now with Clayton Tilley, and so is Braden Shute. Something has gone very wrong for Clayton Tilley there.
Oh, 3 wide. It is. Oh my goodness, they all somehow come out of that one alive there. My goodness, the 51 of Tilley just trying to get the low line working, but also get up high on the way in. Slider from Stewart there on Shute, but Shute's going to go down the middle of all 3 of them there and take the spot back. Oh, Stewart in the fence at turn 1 as well. It's great to see we're still green here, Reese, which means the action is continuing to come at a rate of knots. It's really hard to keep up with so far, but these 3 guys still fighting over P6. And are they catching? Oh, is that Ryan Berkeley? Joel Berkeley, sorry, up in the fence there on the run out of turn 2 and losing some time to the race leader at the moment. Look at this here, still on. 2 guys up high, Tilley down low. They're going to try and what happened is so slick all the way across the track. But there we go, Stewart with the run. Maybe up the inside of Shute here. Reese, he is going to finally slide his nose ahead there. But Shute with another crisscross on the exit, able to see that slider coming.
And the caution is out. There's been a problem. Darcy Wilson has come a cropper somewhere. And we'll get our first virtual racing school replay of the race to see what happened to the driver of the number 5. So coming down into these corners, it was the next lap that it happened. He's got a couple of drivers coming up on him here. The number 99 of Aston Hurley, and Van der Wacker getting into him there on the way into the turn. And what a great check up there from the number 21 of Nathan Norman, just avoiding getting involved in that.
Indeed, they're going to jump on board with Van der Wacker here in the 088 to check this one out here. So unfortunately here for this guy, he slides it on in, trying to get underneath Gow there. Unfortunately, though, just not able to pull it up on the inside. And, well, fairly cut and dry end-of-line penalty for the 088. We'll send Van der Wacker to the back here as we pace around under caution. Not too long now before we get someone indeed. Lights out on the pace truck. Double file restart here. And Tim Ryan going to pick the inside line to get this race back underway. Almost at the halfway mark already here, Reese. And, well, this is going to be an exciting one here as we go back to this double file formation. Restart zone a little bit earlier here. And, indeed, Ryan takes full advantage with a nice early jump as the 77, Brad O'Brien up high on the restart, has dropped about a metric ton of places here. As look at them all fan out once again under green.
Yep, O'Brien's having a tough time of it, isn't he? He's trying his best here to hold on to these places. Currently down in 11th spot and trying to fend off Isaac Roos. Yep, a couple of drivers in the fence there. Harry Stewart, he's trying to fend off Braden Shute. Look at that outside run there from Stewart, up into 4th now. This restart has gone fantastically for the Kiwi in the number 11, and he's going to try and line up Clayton Davies for a spot on the podium from here.
Indeed, a lot of drivers trying to work the cushion here. Tim Ryan, the exception at the moment here, down at the bottom leading the field because it's basically Berkeley, Davies, Stewart, and Shute all now riding the cushion. Pardon me, Clayton Davies opting to go down low as we check on further back here. Daniel Gow and Clayton Tilley trying to work on the back of Braden Miller here, all just outside the top 5 as they try and find what little grip remains on this circuit. We've got drivers working all kinds of lines. We're getting 3 wide comfortably. Here's Tilley's going to get contact with Gow. I think we need a second caution here as a result. No, we stay green despite, look at them all tripped up and tangled at the exit of turns 1 and 2.
There we go.
Finally comes as, oh, it's still going on down the back stretch.
That created a huge concertina, and I didn't even see who the car was.
Admin caution thrown.
That caution out. Yeah, looks like, yeah, Brady Baldwin threw it manually. Well, we check out Brad O'Brien here. Brady obviously saw all of this unfolding and thought, nah, guys, it's time to have a bit of a timeout. Contact ahead, and O'Brien got into them, and they just interlocked wheels, and they couldn't get out of each other's hair.
They couldn't, and they just kept enough speed going that, yeah, it didn't throw the automatic iRacing caution, so Atman's stepping in there to fix things up. And see several drivers caught up in all of that one there, unfortunately. End of line penalty for Daniel Gow. He's going to throw himself into the pit lane, but he's actually just spun it out on the attempt to get into the entries. We check out the replays once more here. Nathan Norman, we focus on there for a second in the number 21 high octane sim sports car. That looked a little bit banged and beaten up, but if he's gone to the pits, which I don't think he hasn't. No time to, because we're going back to a restart on this lap here. No, pace truck's staying out, but we're already double file in preparation.
Yeah, the caution was manually extended by Brady Baldwin to give everyone a chance to get things going. And got to say, I think Nathan Norman might feel a little bit hard done by that, because he was absolutely cleaned up from behind when he was trying to slow down for that incident ahead. Either way, we're going to reset here with 14 laps of racing to go. Let's see how quickly we can get it done. Double file again, and it's Tim Ryan and Joel Berkeley on the front row, and we are away. Berkeley getting the slightly better run off the line, but Tim Ryan is going to keep to the inside. The yellow has been immediately thrown again. There's been a big problem there.
I'll tell you why, because everyone went off Joel Berkeley when the race leader, Tim Ryan, was waiting for the very end of the restart zone down low, and as a result, monumental pile-up on the outside line. As a result of that one there, single file restarts ordered by race control as a result of that one. You can see there, and Brad O'Brien, second time the 77 has gotten caught up in trouble on a restart here. This time, though, it is huge stack up and contact. So we watch here in the mid-pack. See, they're already going, but the race leader down low hasn't gone yet. As a result, Nathan Norman gets tangled, and oh my goodness, there, the 81 machine of Cole Ferguson piles on in. Got the 002 of Thomas Mitchell there in that speed shop, and LCJ entry there, unfortunately, takes a massive whack into the 77, and you see here, dinted, bruised, and yeah, sands one wing on his truck, his sprint car already. Going to be a slightly longer caution here. No one yet to come to the pits, though, despite all of this here, and looks like it's going to be, yeah, Joel Berkeley got ahead just enough that the race lead has been given to him here in this one, Reese.
Yeah, and this could be a very big change of the night for Joel Berkeley. I was just about to mention that because he put the power down a bit early on the restart. Yeah, he was able to get ahead of Tim Ryan just in time when the caution flag was rethrown. And with this single file restart, that is one variable out of the equation. And Berkeley is going to go here on the single file restart. And here we go then. Berkeley up
Sean
high,
Stevens.
Ryan down low. Oh no, is it going to happen again? Nope. Stevens manages to keep it.
Keep enough momentum going,
Yep.
so we stay green.
We do indeed. But we're seeing racing going on all throughout the field here. Tim Ryan down low is going to try and catch up to Joel Berkeley here as we're going to come up to the line to get 10 laps to go here at Limaland Motorsport Parks in round 5. And it's almost side by side here between Ryan and Berkeley. Two drivers very familiar with each other. There's lots of racing going on in the back, but can Tim Ryan take this win from Joel Berkeley? The laps will be ticking down here.
It is indeed. You can see here Ryan just trying to get any bit of grip he can on the bottom line here, but the slick is so far extended to the bottom. There's barely a slither of grip down. He actually grabs a tyre there through turns 1 and 2. That just stalls his momentum a fraction there. He loses maybe a tenth or so, I reckon, there to your race leader of Joel Berkeley. No, make that 2 tenths now. And traffic on the low line. He's going to just try and... Oh, no, the 77 of O'Brien. That forces Ryan up high. In fact, he tries to kick to the low line. So he swings around, but he's now under pressure from Harry Stewart for P2. And Stewart's going to swing around and take the place on the high line with the speed through the middle of the corner. No, Ryan hangs on for a moment longer, but we're coming to 5 to go. And now it's on for P2. Joel Berkeley looks to have this one all done as Van der Wacker, the next lap car, is going to be issue here. And look at this here, the field splitting him here around turns 1 and 2.
Yep, and Clayton Davies has worked his way back into 4th spot, and he could get a podium out of this if Ryan or Stewart end up having a bad run here in the last couple of laps. Ryan, though, working that low line really well, as you can see. Doesn't seem to be having much trouble keeping Stewart behind, so now Harry is going to have to look out for the number 1 of Clayton Davies. More lap traffic that they are trying to negotiate here, and they've managed to just get past. But Harry Stewart, oh, he's level with Tim Ryan. Could he get it done in these last few laps? He is alongside him for the most part when they get into the turns, but Ryan just keeping that momentum up on the inside is working really well. 2 laps to go now, and Joel Berkeley is going to continue to lead here. The white flag is out. Half a lap to go, and will it be Joel Berkeley taking the win here? Yes, it will. Feature win for Joel Berkeley at Limaland, and Tim Ryan's just going to hold off Harry Stewart for second.
Oh, more traffic for the 98 down low. He just makes it through, as you said there, Reese, and able to hang on to that spot despite the pressure up high there. But that brings the race to a conclusion for tonight. And, well, we'll get a chance to chat with our top 3 in just a moment's time. But let's walk you through the results here in this one for the feature at Limaland. Joel Berkeley able to make it a 1.1 second margin at the end of that race there, ahead of Tim Ryan, who, after a mixed bag this season, I think he'll be hopefully somewhat happy with P2 tonight. Harry Stewart makes it another podium in feature races for this season of the 360 Power Series. He finishes ahead of Clayton Davies, who ends up in P4. Small gap back to Brady Miller in P5, just ahead of Braden Shute there for P6, and it was Aston Hurley in P7. Blaine Densley there in 8th. Daniel Boyd able to make it tonight, and then up 13 spots from the back of the field. Tyler Bish rounding out your top 10 tonight there in the number 41.
Indeed, the number 11 position is taken by Isaac Roos, with John Schultz finishing in 12th. Braden Morosky is going to come home in 13th. Unfortunate night here for Darcy Wilson, 5th to 14th at the end, with Brent Hobbs taking 15th, and then Sean Stevens, Cole Ferguson, Nathan Norman, and Nathan Van der Wacker, along with Brad O'Brien, rounding up the top 20 positions. That's a shame for those guys, and unfortunate to see that Clayton Tilley was involved in one of those incidents that brought out the caution from a front row start down to 23rd. Mitchell and Gow will be classified ahead of him, and Daniel Evans not taking to the grid. He wasn't permitted to race because of his contact in the B main just before. Either way, it is time now to have a chat to our friends in the interview booth. And of course, first of all, we're going to talk to our feature winner, Joel Berkeley. G'day, Joel, and congratulations on your victory. It did seem like that brief little bit of racing between those two very quickly thrown cautions worked out to your advantage.
Yeah, I think it worked out in my advantage, just with how the racing timing system works. But I think there was a few times there where there's a good battle between me and Tim there. It's just a shame every time I got close to him, it was a yellow, and it's like, yeah, I don't know if I had better pace than him, but yeah, it was a good battle between the two of us, and he was definitely committed to rolling some inside berm, and I was committed to knocking down the concrete.
Yeah, do you think that Limaland is a track that really lends itself well to that kind of racing? I mean, we saw the proof of it, really, but what do you think would go into setting a car up well to take that low line? Because the track's very flat down there.
Yeah, honestly, I didn't expect the bottom to be, Tim to be down the bottom, because just a track like this, usually, like when the track goes slick, and as you said, it's flat down the bottom, you don't really run down there, but I think I haven't really ran too much with the new build and this sort of track, but I think with the 360s, it sort of allows being able to run that bottom a bit more and make some multi-groove racing, which is all what we want to see. It's just shame about a few cautions there. I don't know if it really affected the end of the race result, but it definitely a bit of a shame, because I think it was going to be a good battle between me and Tim there, because they have a lot of respect for each other.
Yeah, indeed. Either way, you do come home with another victory, and with your joke around. Yes. My apologies. I'm just I looked at the championship standings and I saw you at the top, and I was going to say you've already used your joke around, so that explains why you're at the top. Well, that's feature win number 1 for you this season, then, Joel. And it looks like the final round of the season is going to be an absolute banger. We're going to be racing at Lucas Oil Speedway, though we are going to have that delayed by a week, so a little bit extra time for you to prepare, or maybe a little bit extra time to get the nerves up.
Well, mate, I've got to buy the track first, so I might have to do that tonight and cut a few laps there. But yeah, we made the most of our joke around early on in the season, got over and done with, instead of having a bit of pressure on ourselves, and just did what we needed to do, and just gone about trying to be consistent every week. I felt like I threw myself out of it a fair bit last week in that heat race when I stood on it, I guess, and yeah, threw away a good stance when I had to do the alphabet, but made up for in the A a little bit, and hopefully just have I don't know what the point situation is for Lucas Oil, but hopefully the others that haven't played their Joker did tonight, and we'll know what the situation is coming next week, or 2 weeks, sorry.
Indeed we will. Before we let you go, Joel, anyone you'd like to thank for your win tonight?
Yeah, look, massive thanks to the guys at Slick SimSport for what they do. You guys for broadcasting. It's good to see an Australian league being broadcasted at top quality by you guys. Brady and Liam for what they do at ODSE, putting on the best league in the country, and everyone else makes it possible. And Harry and Kez and Damo from United, we've been working a bit together, and we've had pretty successful results this season. So hopefully we can just have a strong finish, and see what happens next time.
Indeed we shall. That's Joel Berkeley there, taking his first feature win of the season here tonight. Second place on the dirt was Tim Ryan, who started on pole for the feature, and Dan Yeaman's going to have a chat to him about how his race went.
Thanks there, Reese. Well, Tim, first time I had a chance to chat to you in this season, and unfortunately there for you, I think you looked like you're in pretty good control of that one there, and then unfortunately just pipped on one of those double file restarts by Joel. And then traffic there on the bottom really made that a bit of a tough run there to the end when you committed down low to try and chase down Joel at the end.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. It was a really good race. As I said, just committed 100% for the bottom, sold out there, and really low fuel. So I didn't really have an opportunity to move around, but obviously that was my decision. The car felt really good, to be honest. I felt pretty good in the first few laps. Then it fell away a little bit on the longer runs. But yeah, it was a really good race. Had terrible luck this series, to be honest. I just haven't been executing, and then got called up for a jump start last week, going half a car length for the start zone, which is the rules, and then get jump started on a restart tonight to get the win taken away.
Yeah, it looked like for the most part, despite a couple of restarts in the feature, you had that one under lock and key for the most part until that that fateful double file restart, as you said there. And I guess, yeah, unfortunately, traffic with that longer run to the finish, unfortunately, really made things difficult. You said there having to commit to the bottom. How much grip were you working with down there? Because we can see, obviously, towards the end of the feature, the slick was really quite well spread there. Just that little bit of what looks like cleaner track right down the bottom there. You had to try and get there, but also not run over the tyres on the inside there at the same time.
Yeah, it's really difficult. Obviously, at the start of the race, there was a little bit more moisture down there, so you could get on the throttle a little bit more, and the car would stick more in the centre of the corner and not flow out. But as the race went on, you need to slow the centre of the corner up so you weren't flowing off the exit, and pretty much trying to hold the left front wheel over that inside tractor tyre. I did it pretty good, actually. I'm normally not too consistent down there, but got into a little bit of a rhythm, which is probably the most important thing when you're committing to a line. Like Joel was committed on the top, and it's really tough up there. I could hear him making a few mistakes hitting the wall every now and then, and that's kind of the decision why I decided to run the bottom.
Yeah, definitely saw a lot of drivers really pushing the limits up the high side tonight. And yeah, it's certainly one of those things you have to gamble with. Well, despite it being an up and down season for you, Tim, you're still inside the top 10 on points and, well, got one more round to go. And if you can bring out another result like tonight, I'd like to think you'll probably end with a strong chance of consolidating up towards the middle of that group there. We go to Lucas Oil. It'll be 2 weeks from now, thanks to a small rescheduling for the series before we wrap things up. Have you done a lot of driving there in this combination? And either way, thoughts on what that might bring with this group of drivers when we wrap things up in 2 weeks?
I really wish I could tell you. I haven't even bought the track, so I'll obviously do some laps on it between now and then. Luckily, with obviously those 2 weeks, makes it a little bit easier to fit in a little bit of time to cut some laps. But basically, the amount of years I've been sim racing and the amount of laps I've had in these cars, adapting to a new track shouldn't take too long, hopefully.
Good point to make. I should have realised that Lucas Oil is like a very recent addition to the iRacing service, at least when it comes to the dirt oval part of things. Well, I'll make the note of that one for future reference.
I'm going to hit up Jay Kennedy. He said he would sponsor me the track, so just really looking forward to him sending me the money over the track. Yeah, it's all good. Cheers, boys. All right, see you later.
Indeed. Well, there we go. Tim Ryan, number 98, wraps home P2 tonight in the feature race. And, well, before I hand back to you, Reese, final driver to chat to tonight, Harry Stewart in that number 11 machine for United Sim Sports, now standing by with you there, Reese.
Indeed. Congratulations on another podium here, Harry, and the number 11 coming home with another strong result here this season. Can you tell us whether you decided to use your joke around here?
Yeah, definitely did. I'm not too keen on Lucas Oil for the next round, so I thought my best bet's probably here. So, just glad I didn't stick it in the fence and actually got a decent finish. So, yeah.
All right, excellent stuff. You definitely had your work cut out for you, though, starting 7th for the feature. You had to slice and dice your way through there, and even got into the wall a few times, and Braden Shoot, it seemed, was a bit of a thorn in your side.
I guess it was at the start there, I sort of was behind, I think, Braden Miller, so I cut down to go in between him, and just as that happened, Darcy was on my inside, then Brad O'Brien got to his inside, we were 4 wide, and I haven't seen the replay yet, but I think Miller just exited just off the concrete, as you do, because it's a big concrete wall, you don't really want to hit it. So, and I just got a bit of a left rear, and I think we went back to 10th, and then had to just follow Braden Shoot around, and we eventually got a bit clearer and tried to race past him, and then that yellow came out, and I just got pretty gifted there to get past most of them, and then then got another good restart to get past Clayton, and I was just trying to catch Tim without overdoing it and ended up in the concrete, obviously because of the Joker. I knew I just needed to finish, and I just went for it at the end, because I thought even if I stick it in the fence, I'll just hold it flat and get to the line and hopefully stay 3rd or 4th. So obviously didn't get past him, but definitely a good result for taking the Joker.
Yeah, absolutely it is. And I guess looking at the track on the sim at the moment, the fact is the slick line pretty much extended all the way down to the bottom here. What was the grip like for you when you tried to go a little bit lower?
It wasn't as bad as I thought it'd be. It was more of a lighter colour slick, so it wasn't as slippery. It still needed a lot of throttle control, but it's not as bad as the Top Gun at the end, because everyone was just running up there. So I knew going into it we wouldn't have been good on the bottom, so just tried to commit to running the top and then the middle on the restarts, because obviously you run the top on the restarts, you open yourself up to the whole field to slide you. So I knew if I was good enough to get through the middle there and then just run the top, the rest, I'd be decently alright. I was going to try going down there and follow Tim, but I knew Tim would have something special going on with his set to just be able to dig out of the corners like he was, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
Well, it's another podium for you here in the 360 Power Series. Harry, who do you have to thank for it?
Yeah, just Brady for putting the league on every week, and you guys for broadcasting. Everyone at United SimSports and Slick SimSports for getting this thing fast every week with the minimal practice me and Joel do. So Titan Garages and Carports, 87 Creative, Velocity Sim Lab, Toowoomba Mobile Welding, and BKB Pumping Solution.
Well, congratulations again for your third place, and thanks for joining us, Harry Stewart. Well, that's going to bring to an end proceedings for tonight, Dan. What a fantastic night of racing that was, though we will have to highlight that Race Control are looking at that restart between Tim Ryan and Joel Berkeley. So the results that we have seen tonight are only provisional. Regardless, we have one more round of the series to go, and it's going to be at the brand new to iRacing Lucas Oil Speedway.
It is indeed, and well, yeah, that's me making a bit of a gaffe there in the interviews, talking about what's the experience like at the track. When no one has all that much experience here just yet. This track's a handful of weeks old on the service, but well, based on what we've seen so far, should be a good place to wrap things up and a chance to bring home a cracking series so far. And indeed, yeah, that post-race discussion and decision-making from Race Control that might happen might just give Tim Ryan a win in post here this evening. We'll have to wait and see, I guess. But indeed, that will do us for tonight, Reese. Great to be able to join you here tonight and step in for Cam Dance. I'm sure we'll have Cam back for the final round with you in 2 weeks' time as usual. And, well, we say well done to Joel Berkeley for now. Might be a bit of an asterisk there, but we'll wait and see on that one. And, well, I look forward to hopefully tuning in to see how the final round goes from the audience next time round, I would suggest.
Indeed. Thanks very much for watching, everybody across the world, across Australia, whether you've tuned in on YouTube, on Facebook, or Twitch. And thank you very much, of course, to Proserv Finance for the title sponsorship of this series, and for Brady Baldwin and Oceanic Dirt Sim Events for putting this league on in the first place. Always a pleasure. I'm Reese Gardner, Dan Yeaman alongside me, and Jay Kennedy on production. We're SimSpeed TV, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks' time for the final round of the Oceanic Dirt Sim Events 360 Power Series.
This is fantastic. This is GT racing right now.
He's got traction, he's going around the outside of both of them! Maloney!
Oh, he's taken Anderson. Anderson's up to
Oh my god! Big crash! Oh my goodness, half the field's gonna get full!
Second very close. These guys I want to make their way through the field very quickly. Oh, there we go. Oh no! That's massive! This is it! This is over! I can't believe this! Oh my god!
God, what?